Welcome back here to The Hill on NewsNation. Live look at Berkeley, California. It's not yet rush hour out there, but it always kind of is in California, right? It's a live look at I-80. Holiday traffic already picking up for the 4th of July. And it's being fueled by a drop in gas prices. Some good news here. Right now across the country, a gallon of gas averages just over $3 a gallon. That is the lowest since 2021. At least for this time of year. Last year it was $3.50. The White House now claiming victory when it comes to gas prices. But that's not all to consider on what has become a big day in politics. Stocks up since Inauguration Day. The Dow Jones Industrial Average up more than 3 points. The S&P 500, NASDAQ up 5 points. And consider that's the case despite all those concerns and worries and fears over the president's tariff policy. Inflation has not risen. It's right at around 2.5%. The jobs market has not crumbled. Right now, unemployment still at around 4%. Trump even today claiming victory over egg prices, taking to social media to highlight the cost. Overseas, the president ordered the bombing of Iran's nuclear facilities, and a ceasefire between Iran and Israel has followed, and it still holds as of this moment. And today, the one big beautiful bill. The House sending President Trump the bill for his signature, and that will take place, that signing, tomorrow afternoon. It is the bill that the president has been pushing for months.
We're sort of celebrating like the biggest bill of its kind ever signed, and it's going to make this country into a rocket ship. It's going to be really great.
We'll sign it tomorrow on the 4th of July, the deadline that he and his party set. Full panel here with me now. Niall Stanage, White House columnist for The Hill. Denise Gitsham, back with me again, NewsNation political contributor. Jonay Wartell is a Democratic strategist, and on little to no sleep, we released him from the halls of the Capitol. He is with us tonight, the one and only Joe Khalil. Hello, sir.
Thanks. Good to be here.
Yes. Hello to you all. Thanks for being here on a big day in politics. Obviously, that's not the full story and not even close to the full story, but it is right now, I think, Denise, the story for the president, and it brings up a question of how does he run this out from here?
I mean, I guess he just keeps on winning, you know?
Oh, come on. Don't give me that talking point. Seriously, what does he do from here?
Is it a talking point?
Yeah,
You just listed all of his accomplishments.
Well, I mean, look, it's part of the backdrop, but where does he take it from here? Because I guess you could
he takes a breather because he just won so big. I mean, I can't help but say, like, he's going to keep on winning because every time you hear Democrats get up, they say the same tired talking points. Talk about talking points. It's the same thing we've heard forever. And I really feel for the Democrats because I understand what this is like as a Republican. But when a political party doesn't understand what its principles are, like what it actually stands for at its core, and you see this divide between super progressive socialists and the sort of normal Democrats that we used to be able to work with, it's a real problem. And we struggled with that when the Tea Party came up in 2010. And so I understand that struggle, and they're going to be in the dark until they find a way to actually stop the steamroll.
I think that's a bit unfair. I'm not here to speak for the Democrats, obviously, but look, it's a win for President Trump that he got his signature legislation through. That legislation is not that popular. Quinnipiac poll just last week showing the majority of people disapproving, almost twice as many as who approved of this. Then you have the issue of what happens when the rubber meets the road in some of the less popular elements of this. People losing Medicaid benefits, for example. People who are going to get impacted, from the loss of SNAP benefits. There are things in this bill that will not be popular, and that's a problem.
But let me just, sorry, go. I just want to say, though, the thing is, politics are about binary choices. And whenever you look at something that's unpopular that Republicans do, Democrats are still lagging Republicans by so much that given the two choices, people are still saying Republicans are actually doing something.
But when you say lagging them by so much, I mean, Kamala Harris lost the popular vote by a point and a half.
But look at congressional Republicans and Democrats. Democrats are still so far below. They're still at historic lows.
The numbers are low for congressional Democrats. The numbers are also, as Niall points out, low for this bill as well. But it's still a president who I just laid a lot of that out, Jonay, and your party, I guess, was celebrating today with an 8-hour speech by Hakeem Jeffries. Is that going to get it done to slow Trump down?
Well, you talked about winning, and I think that this might be a win for the Trump and the Trump administration, but this is not a win for the American people, right? We look at what this big, ugly bill is doing. We look at the fact that it's gutting health care, it's gutting all these social programs, food assistance, and I'm proud that Democrats came together and unanimously opposed this bill. Republicans are now going to have to own this. They're going to have to go into their districts and say, this is the bill that I voted for.
What are you guys going to do? What is your side of the aisle going to do? If you think it's that bad, what are you going to do about it?
Democrats should be going into every single Republican district across America. By the way, many more of them are vulnerable for those members because of this vote. And I'd be talking about Republicans taking away their health care, Republicans taking away their safety net. That is a really hard argument to defend if you're Republicans in 2026.
Throughout your 12 coffees today, what did you do?
Look, this is a 1,000-page bill, right?
Yeah.
So I know we don't like nuance today, but that means that there are going to be things that end up going well and things that don't end up going well. And I think we just have to wait and see whether the estimates, 8 to 13 million people losing Medicaid, who knows if that's actually going to happen or not. So I think when we give it time and see if that happens, see if rural hospitals stay open, if there are no issues. There are a lot of things here that even Democrats, I think, would acknowledge they would like. The no tax on tips, the no tax on overtime sounds a lot like a Democratic priority.
Henry Cuellar, when I talked about the border, for example, someone like him, I mean, he's just one. But
yeah, so I just think that, you know, it is unpopular now. Objectively, you look at polling, that's where it is. Things could change, but I think Democrats, if you are one right now, they're sort of hinging on this bill continuing to be unpopular in the midterms, and we'll see if that remains the case.
I think this was the most fascinating soundbite of the day. The president just a little while ago. Roll it.
I think I have more power now. I do. You know, I could say, oh, gee, I don't know. I think I probably do because we've had a great record of success. You know, my first term was very, very successful. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country. I think we're going to blow it away this term.
Is he wrong there on I think I have more power now?
No, he's right. He has the Republican Party in a much firmer grip than he had first time around. First time around, there was still a Trump skeptical wing in the Republican Party. Those people are out of the party now. It is his party. The idea of an old Republican establishment, those guys have been defeated by the Trump insurgents, and it is now a MAGA party.
I think I was going to say I agree with that. And I think the people who have said, we're going to stand up to President Trump and vote no, Republicans, and then they later say, well, actually, we now got some kind of concession, we're going to vote yes. I think the reality is they legitimately are scared of him threatening a primary. I think Thomas Massie is uniquely not scared of that, and maybe Rand Paul, but literally everyone else postures, and I think just in the back of their mind, they don't want Trump to do that.
I think that's a great point. I mean, these are folks who, in many cases, some of these Republicans supported this bill under the threat of primary. That shows that he has not just a lockstep on the party, but a stranglehold. Right? And so I think that going into 2026, you're going to see this election cycle where are you going to find that people are going to step outside of this Trump narrative, the Trump spin, the Trump messaging, and show independent thought and leadership for their constituents.
Or that you're winning. Again, I'm just going to say it because I worked for President George W. Bush, and I loved the man, but he did not have anywhere near the hold on this party that President Trump has. And I think all of what we're missing is his unbelievable ability to manipulate the media and be that reality TV star. Democrats have not figured out how to get their messaging. They have not figured out even who they are, but they certainly haven't figured out how to dominate the media cycle, and that's what's going to win the day.
By the way,
he just gave him a new message to run with.
By the way, speaking of media, when the president signs the bill tomorrow afternoon, he revealed today that B-2 bombers are going to be flying over the White House as that happens.
It's Hollywood.
Speaking of a spectacle. Thank you all. Appreciate it.